So, here's the final product. This is the red wine braised beef. I'm having it with mashed potatoes, but it's good with other carbohydrates. Whether it's bread or anything else you might like. It just tastes great. It's meat and vegetables all in one, so you don't really have to worry about prepping too many side dishes. With no further ado, I'm going to get to the recipe. Okay, so today's recipe is red wine braised beef. I'll be having it with mashed potatoes, but that recipe will have to be for another day. So it says here to use beef chuck. I'll be honest, beef chuck is delicious. But if you don't have it on you, that's okay. So long as you got something with a little bit of marbling in it. Tougher cuts are okay as well. As you're going to be cooking it for a really long time, it should soften up, and you're going to be mashing it up at the end to get a good blend of vegetables and meat. So if you really wanted to, I would never ever advise someone buy eye of round or something like that. But you could. You could use that if you're just looking for something to get rid of it in, okay? But beef chuck will probably taste the best. I say olive oil here. It doesn't burn or anything. You can use other oils if you want. Just if you're okay with your final product tasting like that oil, it's okay. So, initially this used more beef, but I like a lot more vegetables, so I reduced it. I increased the number of leeks from 2 to 3, garlic down to 3 from 4, and I added a bit of a range for the carrots. I like having more carrots. I've also added mushrooms. You can use whatever mushroom you want. I don't like button mushrooms. I don't think they taste good. If you want to use portobello or some other mushroom, go for it, but cremini tends to taste pretty good. It's very accessible. And I also added 6 to 8 stalks of celery. I would suggest use red wine, but if you can't, you can do 50% red wine vinegar, and then the other half is water, and it'll make a decent substitute. Not ideal, but decent. Beef stock can be produced from powdered beef stock. Use dried bay leaves, doesn't matter. And once again, as I've mentioned prior, Vietnamese is optional, the fish sauce. Please don't use Thai unless you're good with the fishy taste. This is a red wine braised beef, not braised fish. So, if possible, use the Vietnamese fish sauce. It just adds in glutamates, makes everything taste better. Keep in mind, as always, the original recipe is in the description. Please check that. With no further ado, let's get to the recipe. So, you got your meat. You want to cut it into big enough chunks that'll fit in your pan nicely. So I'm thinking probably gonna do one there. Oh. I would do 4 chunks. You have to forgive me. I'm learning how to cut with my left hand. It would be a good thing to try out here. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to salt everything. You can't tell, but I'm spilling a billion different pills on the ground from the cover where we keep the salt. There we go. Okay, so you're going to want to very generously salt the meat. I know this looks like a lot of salt, but that's okay. It's going to brine the meat. And we're going to do that for about 8 minutes. Now, I would have done it in advance, but I was having some technical difficulties. You should not salt your meat between 10 and 15 minutes. Less than 10, not terrible. More than an hour, also pretty good. But just keep that in mind, alright? With that completed, we're going to do our celery, carrots, and leek. Oh, I like to have a billion veggies when I do this. You might want less, you might want more, doesn't really matter to me. Whatever. So, you're gonna add some olive oil to the pan. Good, decent amount. A little more won't hurt you much. Okay. You want to get that relatively hot. And for every about 2.5 pounds of meat, I like a lot of vegetables in my dish. You might like a few less vegetables, but that's whatever. But I would do about 4 carrots. Well, 3.5 carrots per 2.5 pounds of meat. Oh shoot, I'm supposed to be cutting with my left hand. Keep forgetting. Anyway, this is probably gonna get montaged. Okay, that pan should be like pretty hot. Add your meat, the ones that you salted earlier. Very nice. Okay, we're back. Nice crust on the meat. Rotate it. Nope. That one can go back down. Not bad. Your goal is to crust the meat on all the sides as much as possible. That's the goal here. Back to chopping. So far, so good. Okay, so the meat's done. We have a very nice sear, or relatively good sear on most of the edges. Oh, I lied. Okay, well, that one's just gonna go in for a second more here. This one's done. That's done. That's basically done. Nice. Okay. Now, what I like to do here is I like to do a quick deglaze. Oopsies. Quick, simple deglaze. Get it going. Now, add in your carrots once you pull the meat off. You're gonna put a lid on that. Let them steam and soften. Then you're gonna wash the mushrooms. Now, you want to cut these kind of thick. They're going to lose a lot of water weight, and you don't want them completely dissipating in your braised beef roast, right? You want to still be able to eat them. You don't want just essence of mushroom. Pan's pretty hot at this point. Gonna add some oil. Good healthy amount. We'll finish off the rest of the mushrooms. Let's check in briefly on the pot full of carrots here. Still very hard, but they're going somewhere. So we're gonna add in the celery. That's done. Now, send your mushrooms into the pot. You want to cook all the water off your mushrooms. You want to make sure that as little water from the shrooms as possible gets into the pot. This is the goal here. Still very hard. It's got to continue softening. Okay, we're gonna do one onion here. While you're at it, you're also gonna do 4 cloves of garlic. But we will continue when I get the battery pack. Now I'm gonna get 3 cloves of garlic ready here. Okay, so here are the leeks. They've been chopped up. I'm about to have a GoPro issue. Here are the onions, also chopped up. So you should add your leeks when your carrots and your celery look like this. This is what your mushrooms should look like before addition. So you can see that they've been nicely browned up. They've shrunk inside, all the water's out. That's what you want. Now I'm gonna add the onions very quickly. Or sorry, the leeks. And you're also going to want to add 3 cloves of garlic. Once your braised consistency looks like this, you're going to add in the 3 to 4 cloves of garlic along with the onion. You're going to put the lid back on, you're going to allow that to soften up as well. Oh, I'm being silly. Oopsies. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, I should have done this earlier as well, but you're going to want to very generously pepper your beef before it goes in. My hands are clean, don't worry. But yeah, just hit them with pepper. Or you can stick it straight in later, it doesn't really matter. The seller that sold me the GoPro, he gave me every accessory except for a charger. So, we're back on the cell phone temporarily. So you're going to want to bake at 350. Make sure you got enough room for your Dutch oven or whatever. Now, while we're at it, so this is basically finished. Everything's softened up. You're going to want to nestle the meat right in with the stuff. Ideally, you're going to want to get it to the bottom of the pan. I would use your hands for this. It's hard otherwise to be dexterous enough. But yeah, it's very hot. As you can tell, I kind of just burned my fingers. Now, once it's all nestled, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add 2 cups of red wine, 2 cups of beef stock, 4 to 6 sprigs of thyme, and 2 bay leaves. What I've done here is I prepared it all in a 4-cup Pyrex dish. So you're just going to want to add all of that. Now, I know that looks like an absolute ton of fluid, and I would be lying if I said it wasn't. Make sure you get all the rest of the powder that didn't dissolve. Add some water for it in. Now, this really is a ton of fluid. However, your meat is going to come up near the surface here. For a good braise, you want your meat to almost or just be just under the surface or just peeking over the surface. So you can see here, I'm bringing up my meat. Now, I've lost one piece of meat here, likely due to my own incompetency. There we go. Okay. So, give me a second here. I'm going to move this piece of thyme over. So you're going to want to spread things out. So you can see that's meat 1, 2, 3, and 4, just below the surface, okay? So you're going to want to use the stove to bring this up to a boil with the lid on. And once it's boiling, you're going to want to put it into your preheated oven at 350 bake, right? Give me a second, I'm moving this bay leaf off to the side. So you just want to space your herbs out well. Now, I'm going to put a lid on this. And now, even as the water evaporates off in the oven, you're still going to have liquid. It's not going to go dry on you. Then you're just going to want to transfer that to the oven. Just about forgot, you also have to add a little bit of fish sauce, about a tablespoon. Okay, so the food has been finished. I was in the oven for about 3 hours. So real quick, just gonna mash it all down. So this makes sure that the meat is very juicy. You can see it's a nice, just perfectly cooked through. And this makes sure that the meat gets thoroughly hydrated, even if it dried out during cooking. Now, I'm being very light with this. I know you shouldn't be using metal and enamel, I'm fully aware. But that's basically your finished beef braise. Now, it's quite good by itself, but it's also very good with potatoes. There you go. Here's the final product. Tastes great. There's nothing more to be said here. Give it a shot and enjoy your cooking.